If we are to survive, a new balance must be found. In normal times, evil would be fought by good. But in times like these, well, it should be fought by another kind of evil.
What's up, D?
Youngster.
Man, just chilling with you.
Now I was checking out that a little bit of the first part of that Bel Air thing.
You talking about, okay, I decided Mark Dark posted like he's gonna do a review of it or whatever.
Yeah, I was just as a writer, I was interested in how they how can they take a comedy and transform it into a serious formula. However, what they did at first, they took a serious formula and they turned it into a comedy.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that's brilliant. So I wanted to see what's the results. As far as the way that people see, because if you look at the Fresh Prince and if you look at the storyline formula, it is a very good formula for a serious movie.
Right.
It's just that they gave it to us first by way of a comedy, I guess because of the times. I can't even say that, because maybe it was, because Menace to Society didn't come out until after the Fresh Prince. And I say Menace to Society because Boys in the Hood was you might as well say that the first step going towards Menace to Society as far as the measurement of time is concerned.
Right.
So I'm figuring, well, maybe considering the times that we're living in right now, maybe somebody said, well, maybe we should just redo it and just give people the serious side of the story.
Right.
So when that came to me today, I'm like, I think I want to check that out. Because Lamont Tyson, I looked him up because I remember him saying that he was getting ready to do a recap on it. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me sit here and see what he saw in it. And so when he was walking everybody through it, I'm like, yeah, that does look interesting. So I think I am going to check that out after all.
Right. You said you watched a few minutes of it?
Yeah, just a few minutes on the beginning of it, as far as how he eventually started getting in trouble and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the show, Will Smith never really showed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Were you a fan of Martin back in the day?
Martin was I can't say that I was a fan of Martin, but I put it this way, I would watch Martin whenever I could.
Yeah.
But as far as really wanting, sitting around the TV waiting for Martin to come on, no, it wasn't anything like that. And especially considering I was with Tammy at the time, so I spent the majority of my time stretched out. So yeah, but just a little bit that I saw, it looked really interesting. The last part that I saw right before I called you is when he's sitting in the jail and that guy who he was having issues with was looking across him, and he was putting his finger to his head like he was letting him know that when we get out of here, you dead. you know. But you know, that's very common in our community.
Yeah.
You know, and this is why Neely was saying that if it's not constructive, black people don't need to be around one another.
You know, that's the only time we should be around, and we have a higher purpose. Otherwise, we need to avoid each other. We're too toxic as a community.
Yeah, and you know, when I was looking at that, I said, well, you know, he's very correct. You know, and most people would say, well, that's constructive what they're doing. No, they're not, because they're challenging one another. They're challenging one another. And as long as black people are around each other challenging one another, it's going to go bad. And this is why Malcolm and them would talk about unity, one mind, and one spirit. You know, because if you're not unified in together in what you're doing, you're going to be self-destructive.
Right.
Instead of constructive, you know. Yep. But you understood what I was writing to you about, right? I mean, texting you last night about the death angel.
Well, I mean, me and you have talked about that, but I want you, since we on the phone now, like, expound upon it.
Well,
you know, you kind of came out of nowhere with it or whatever, so I know you can come out of nowhere with something. You got a reason for saying it.
Well, you know, I've been writing down some of the basics of the you might as well say book. You know, I'm just writing down the formula, and I don't know if I'm going to title it "The Death Angel's Curse" or it's either going to be the title of the book or the title of one of the chapters. And see what it is that like I told you, I said, you know, I wanted to explain how the death angel, in other words, the necessary evil has to die to his present self, his former self, and die truly.
Right.
You know, that's after everything, you know, as far as the purge is concerned. And see, due to the fact that your primary purpose on the planet is to vanish all of the wicked, after all the wicked have vanished and peace arises, if you stay in that state of mind, then if you really want peace, you're going to have to die to that mind, or you're going to die, period. Because there's peace abroad, and therefore you no longer have a purpose anymore, because you've already been used for your purpose, and that is to wipe away the wicked. And so even though after the wicked is abolished, and due to the fact that you no longer have a purpose to be here, because your purpose has been fulfilled, now what?
You know, now you say it like that, you explain it. It kind of makes me think of people who are in the military, like the people who are hardcore in the military, and then when they come back to being civilian, a lot of them get on drugs, a lot of them become homeless. It's so much stuff that they go through because they feel like they don't have a purpose here no more, like being on the battlefield for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But see, with the death angel, it's even deeper than that. See, because the death angel is born that way. The death angel is not trained. He's born that way. You know, so it's deeper, you know, because he's ordained to be that way. And I'm talking not physically. He's ordained to be that way internally. You know, but that's for a specific time. Now, after he finishes his purpose, as far as that part of himself is concerned, if he wants to continue to live on, then he has to die to who he is, who he was, in order for him to be able to exist in this peaceful environment. So the necessary evil is during peacetime. It's not necessary. So after all of that is fulfilled, now what?
Right.
You know, because now you can't walk around with all of this sitting up inside of you anymore. You have to die to that. You know, it's like I was saying, they would join the state of peace only if they have died completely to their own former state and purpose. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do.
Because see, there's a part that came to me last night. I think this is one of the reasons why I started on this, because there's a part where it's almost like in the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus was dealing with fear. And when, you know, he had said, you know, I wrote that there's a part when he has a breakdown to the creative force to grant the earth peace, because he wants peace so bad, because he's a death angel. And so he has all of this sitting inside, and he's ready to unleash it, you know, because he wants peace too. He wants peace on the planet. But what he doesn't realize is that, like I said before, after the peace has been established, you no longer have no purpose in your present state. So what's going to happen to you? Are you willing to purge yourself of this mentality in everything? You know, because even that is ordained. And see, and that's his afterlife. You know, now that you've been used for this purpose, it's pretty much what you just got through saying. Now, after you go to war and establish and do what you have to do, then you have to go back to civilization and be able to function in civilization. Are you?
I watch a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watch shows about Navy SEALs, and everything you're saying is, man, if you watch those shows, man, you be like, man, these people can't function.
Right.
Just because, like you said, they're constantly on the battlefield, so like they take that with them in a civilian world, and they're no good.
Apocalypse Now. That movie, like that movie I had you watch called Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, I gotta download that. I don't have that in my collection. I gotta get that again.
Oh, please get that. Please get that. Do you?
Anyway, what you saying about Apocalypse Now?
Do you remember some portions of it?
Man, I think you talking about that years ago.
Yeah.
I know it's a classic movie. I know that much. Cause don't it have, what's the name? Nicholson in there.
It's got Martin Sheen. It's got Harrison Ford in it. It's got a lot of people. I'm trying to remember that other guy's name. I should know his name because he was one of the primary characters in there, but I forgot what his name is. But he played in a lot of stuff. Man, it's embarrassing. He played in that movie The Prophet. He was the preacher. But in Apocalypse Now, he was the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
You know, he was that crazy drill sergeant who was walking around all the men, and all these explosions was going on around him, and he wasn't flinching at all. He wasn't ducking or anything.
Right.
You know, he was very comfortable in that environment because that's what he was trained for. You know, and obviously that's what was a part of his nature anyway, and that's what, you might as well say, enticed him to even get into the service, to be around that environment. You know, because when they was over there in Vietnam and all that chaos and stuff was going on, and people was getting killed and stuff was on fire, and he had the big old helicopters flying and back him and over him, he's just out there joking and clowning with people, talking about how cool it is to surf and everything. And I'm like, looking at this dude, I'm like, wow, this character is amazing. And there's actually people on the planet like this.
Well, they said the reason why it's the film that people fell in love with.
Mm-hmm. That inspired a whole lot of people to join the service.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's why you made it.
Yeah, that's what it's for. That's what the little plastic army men are for. When you're a little kid, and then when you get a little older, then they get you on G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. And then you go from there, and they got ROTC for you. And then out of ROTC, you go into the service. They know what they're doing.
I know when people ROTC, I know if you complete that high school with that, you automatically get bumped up if you do join the military compared to people who didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. But you know, there's a part, like I was saying, when he had broke down, because he wants peace so bad, you know, so that he can die to who he is and what he is. He knows that the way that he's been made is necessary, but there's a burden that comes along with that, because you have this urge to express it, and all you waiting for is the trumpet to be blown, you know. But and he knows that this is going to bring about the peace that he desires. But see, the people who he's helping establish the peace for, those people, after the war is over, those people are it's gonna be much easier for them to reap the benefits, because they are not death angels. They are not the necessary evils. They are the people in whom he's actually establishing, replenishing the earth for. You know, and these people are not the ones who were born into the world as necessary evils. So after the war is over, those people are going to, you might as well say, humbly reap the benefits. But all at the same time, these same people are going to be afraid of people like him. You know, because you remember when Riddick was walking away in the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
And I forgot what he called him. The dude from Mecca. His daughter had said, "Hey Riddick, are you going to kill the other monsters now?" And Riddick just looked back, and he started walking away. And he threw his cloak on, and as he was leaving, everybody was getting out of his way. Now they know that what he's doing is going to benefit them, but they don't want none of Riddick. They don't want no parts of him.
Yeah, they know what he comes with.
Yeah, and they know what he is, they know who he is, and they know what he's been created for. They appreciate him, they even love him, they're just afraid of him. And so the creator was letting this character know, if you want to exist in the paradise that you're helping establish, you have to die to who you are now, internally, in order to exist in this realm, or go into exile and just die. So it's deep, and see, that's why it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. So the dual component is, after the war is done, are you still gonna be so affected by the you might as well say war of Armageddon, that you won't be able to let go because of the zeal of it? It exhilarates you to the degree to where you become addicted to it, and you feel like you can't live without it. So it's like a drug. Are you able to die to that in order to live in this reality that you help create? You know, so it's deep. You know, so even the necessary evil people, you know, the death angels, they want peace. But even after, like I say, even after the peace is established, you have something else to deal with. Now you have to. Now the war becomes within you.
Right.
You know, because by way of the creator, you've already fulfilled that. Now, if you want to exist here, you have to die. to one purpose in order to live in it. Right.
Okay, I'm downloading Apocalypse Now, the theatrical version, because from the consensus on the internet, most people say that the theatrical version is still the better version.
Okay.
They say the pacing is way better than all the other versions.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm also downloading a documentary called Hearts of Darkness about Francis Ford Coppola filming it and the process. But I know you'll be interested in that.
Oh yeah. And you know, there's death angels females too.
Oh yeah, now go in on that. You don't really hear people talking about that.
Well, you know, from me talking to a lot of women, those are the ones that are going to be used on the battlefield as well. You know, because both genders have to want this. And there's some women who are going to tap into that masculine and be put on the battlefield, because there's a dual component to both masculine and feminine. And you know how it says hell has no fury like a woman scorned?
Right.
I think that's going to be tapped in to the female death angel, and she's just going to slaughter. The whole thing is getting this planet back. You know, and like we had talked about before, you have to totally obliterate that consistent, you know, that mentality that we talked about that night. It is a mentality that is consistent within morality.
Right.
So you have to totally just obliterate it. You know, the whole thing is, after everything is over, considering the people who are not on the battlefield, sometimes I wonder what are going to be the age of these people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what makes you wonder that question?
Because the majority of, I'm just wondering at that particular time if the majority of the adults going to be wiped out, because the majority of the adults are the ones that help create this crazy environment.
You know, well, once again, remember, you know, back in you know, so-called Israel, or whatever, before God allowed the children of Israel to go, He killed off all the adults. Or whatever, He only allowed the kids. The reason why He killed the adults, because the adults were so corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it, that was back then, or whatever. Just imagine we way worse now. So I can't see too many. If anything, to me, it sounds like your question would be the teenagers and the kids be doing the killing.
Right.
Somebody got to do it.
I mean, it's like you know, when I sent you that text last night, when it says it's a time that the death angel, male and female, has to suffer the plight of destroying that which was created in society as good, but good for nothing, but the true darkened evils of the world. So a whole lot of people that have been, you might as well say, shrouded or propagated as good, a lot of those people are going to be slaughtered.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be some death angels that's going to go after their families first. I'm talking, you know, they're going to be killing up everybody.
So we need to be them, because we need to be a part of that.
Yeah, parents, kids, all of that. You got to go. You know, it's a mentality that has to be obliterated. You know, this is what the word means when they say we war not against flesh and blood, but our principalities. And see, they don't want to teach this in the church, because they say, well, that's cruel. Well, you know what? Whatever. You know, it's going to take a whole lot of bloodshed in order to produce this heaven on earth as it is in heaven. It's going to take a lot of bloodshed.
Right.
So you're dealing with two places. You're dealing with heaven, which is spiritual, and in order for that to be established on earth, you're going to have to deal with the physical on the planet in order to establish a spiritual realm on planet Earth. It's going to take a lot of bloodshed. This is why it says it's going to be blood all the way up to the horse's bridle.
Right.
Because it's not going anywhere. You know, these demons are not going to give up this planet, Josh, through diplomatic means.
No. There ain't no diplomacy when you're dealing with devils.
No, no. And I think all of the messengers who ended up being prophets and all um, the fulfillers and and all of that, I think all of those people being killed off is enough proof.
You said what, Nick?
I think that all of the messengers and the prophets and all of those people who were like the Messiahs was all killed off. I think that right there tells you that.
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking to this woman who I grew up with today, Monica. I was explaining this to her. I said, this has everything to do when it says that the next time the earth is going to be purged with fire. And then if you think about the title of James Baldwin's book, The Fire Next Time. And I was telling her, it's not talking about a literal fire. It's talking about the zeal inside of the death angels. It's going to be fire now. It's going to be fire now. And it has to be that way, because all diplomatic means have been rejected and exhausted.
They have been exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just it'll be the time for bloodshed and just mass killing
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
And that's why they call it the terrible day of the Lord. So why did you call it the terrible day? Because what's being done is terrible. But it's the Lord's doing. And therefore it's necessary. So people see the terrible day, they call it terrible, because they really perceive it as what's being done seems to be evil. But it's done by the divine. And and a lot of people don't want to talk about the necessary evil, but I understand. I understand. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And how they say, it's going to take them 7 years to bury all the dead. Woo.
I remember, I think it said the horse bridle, the blood going to be in the horse bridle.
Yeah, it's going to be all the way up to the horse's bridle. So that means that the majority of the people on the planet are going to be the wicked. The majority is.
And at this point, you look at the state of humanity, it needs to happen ASAP.
Yeah. And you talk about what they talk about in Christianity. You're going to be covered with the blood of Christ and all of that. Yeah, you damn sure going to be wiping away a world of sin with the blood of Christ. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed. I totally get it. And people, say, well, you believe that? No, I accept that as a reality because of the type of world that I'm looking at. Because there's no other way that this is going to be able to be produced. Because if you look at the world today, the world is going into darkness.
Yeah. And
it's not getting any better. I mean, look at these chapters of power.
So I was just about to say that. I was about to bring up his brother. Well, not even just the brother thing as far as Tommy is concerned, but just power period.
Yeah.
And I bet you now, since we're talking about, I bet you Bel Air, I bet you watch. I bet you in the first 4 episodes, I bet you somebody can't watch. I already know how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm. But look at the way Courtney writes power. Look at the way she writes power. And I was looking at one of her question and answers, and they had brought up how come none of the good people survive power, and she said, of course, if you're innocent on power, she said, we're going to kill you off. You're out of here. And that's funny to her. That's actually funny to her.
And not only is that, but in real life, like the reason why she killed off Ghost as well as all the other father characters in the show is because she had father issues growing up. I don't know if you know that about her.
Yeah. I remember her talking about that.
Oh, okay. I remember I saw one screenshot. I was gonna send it to you one day, but I didn't. It was saying that they was saying that on all the power shows, the moms always conspired to have the sons kill their own father. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we got Courtney to blame for that because she's the one who right.
Right. But see, And the way she writes it, it fulfills when it says what is good, evil is going to be perceived as good, and what's good is going to be perceived as evil. It's all fulfilling itself. It's all fulfilling itself. And now you got people rooting for a Tariq who shot his own daddy in the chest and killed him.
Yeah. And that shows you how good the writers are that they can get us to do that.
No, that just shows you how crazy the world is getting.
Well, yeah, that's true. You're right. Because we shouldn't want that.
Right. And then you hear people reviewing these shows and they're like, oh man, this person's got to go. This person got to go because this is a snitch. Oh, it's like what's his name?
Mecca.
No, not him. The guy who works for Davis.
Oh, you talking about Sachs?
Yeah, Sachs. Oh, Sachs gotta go. Sachs gotta go. Because Sachs is blah, 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 blah. But if you look at Sachs' character, regardless of how he tries to get justice, he still wants to establish doing the right thing.
Right.
Let's not pretend like we don't see that. Let's not pretend like we don't know that. So now when people try to do good, and sometimes they try to do dirt in order to do something good, you want them dead. Let's not forget this man is just trying to do what is right, but you still want him dead. Why are you thinking this way?
Right.
And then you got Tommy going to Chicago and shooting and killing folks, and yeah, it's all a crime syndicate and all of that stuff's going on, but they have she's putting you in a position to where you're rooting for a hero who is actually a criminal and a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, he's a sociopath too.
Please pay attention to what's happening to you. You have to pay attention to what's going on with you by way of entertainment. You got to check yourself. Because you have a whole lot of characters that you're rooting for right now. People like Tariq and all of these characters. You're rooting for these people to live happily ever after. Why are you rooting for these people to live happily ever after?
Right.
Considering how the storyline is and the whole concept of the storyline, since when, how are you going to have these people live happily ever after, considering who they are and their lifestyles?
Right.
How are you going to do that? Because in my book, Dawn of Redemption, I made it certain that Daniel's ass wasn't going to survive.
Right.
Oh, I knew I was going to kill him off, for real.
Right.
Even with Sonny's going to suffer execution. And that's going to be written in the book so that this is the only Sonny you getting. This is it. Because I'm writing at the end of the book, I'm going to let them know how it all turns out. Sonny gets executed. So you ain't going to see any more Sonny. You can forget it.
With that book, with your books, would you have them as movies or TV series?
It all depends. It all depends. Because see, as you know, I utilize a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Now, Sonny, you can put Sonny in for like just one movie. Now, Dawn of Redemption, that's like a series. That's like a 3-part series. Or you can chop it up to a 5-part series, because I take you through his different portions of his childhood and help you see exactly what made him that way.
What do you think about Power and Tommy so far besides the brother crap?
It's slowly developing. It's slowly developing. So it's like it's getting better as it goes on.
Right.
But it has to be. Tommy's going to have to suffer something.
Yeah, because he can't just be, so far they act like he untouchable or something. Like he just can't suffer.
Well, they
really never truly suffer other than that Tommy killed his dad.
Well, like I said, they're creating people who are cold-blooded killers into heroes.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, this is a black woman writing this, so there's a problem right there. I mean, there's an issue even right there. I mean, you not only have a woman writing this, you have a black woman writing this. And she's giggling and laughing, trying to profess herself to be real bubbly and all of that. I see past all of that. I see what you're doing.
Right.
I see what you're doing. And I got back to looking at a whole lot of reviews because I need, it's just amazing how these type of shows are affecting people. And I'll be looking at the comments and I'm like, wow, they just don't want anybody on this show who is decent to survive. They want no good people to survive. And
then Snowfall about to come back on soon, so they gonna be people gonna be rooting for Franklin with that. I can't think of any black show where people are actually good people. And that's all by design.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's all by design, and it's also supported by the community. It's supported by the community because that's what people want to see. They want to see that, and I'm talking people from all walks of life. There's some people who didn't even come up that way, but they still want to see it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's an appetite for blood that has been titillated, and it's constantly being fed psychologically, and a lot of people don't understand how very insidiously that can affect your emotions, and you won't know it until you go off on somebody. So you got to be careful with all of that stuff. That's why you remember when I was telling you when I had that guy Gordon helping me write the first book. He had wrote that molestation scene with Daniel, and it was just too graphic for him. I said, I can't use this.
Right.
He said, well, that's about the molestation. I said, Gordon, this is too graphic. I said, I want people to focus more so on the storyline. I don't want to upset nobody. I don't want anybody to perceive any part of my book as being repulsive. I mean, how could he write something like that?
Right.
I don't want none of my work to be remembered like that. And that's not the type of feeling that I'm trying to give to the general public. That's not how I want to. To me, that's an abuse of your gift. Yeah, so this death angel thing is a lot more serious than people realize.
Right.
You have to die to all of that, and see, he has to be born again as well. After all of that is over, he has to have enough confidence in the Creator that evil has been permanently obliterated.
Right.
And I've got that issue with the Creator, and I'm like, okay, now after all of this is gone, are you gonna let us actually live on this planet in peace, or you gonna start some more shit? What are you gonna do?
Right.
So you have to die to that. I guess that's where the confidence or faith comes in. But I don't know. I don't think the Death Angel is going to be able to do it. So what are you going to do with this dude? You're going to send him into exile? Because that's probably what's going to have to happen to me. You know, you have to send him into exile.
Or send you to another galaxy where you can do some more killing.
Neither that, or, you know, send him into exile and let him wander around until he dies. And you can't blame him for feeling that way. You know, that he doesn't have confidence in you. You know, even though he has reasons to feel like that, you know, because obviously you're either not doing something or sharing some type of clarity with him to convince him that nothing else is going to manifest after that.
Right.
You know, because this is not something that he designed. You know, he didn't design himself, and that's why he suffers.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because it was a lot coming to me last night, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be beautiful. And it's, you know, this is just bits and pieces and everything. Because I do know one thing. This is going to have to take place near the end of the world. I mean, this is going to take place after the world has gone into complete darkness.
Right.
You know, and yet, the only way that, you know, it actually sounds like the people who are that they're fighting for are either going to be hidden or they're going to be enslaved. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You get it though, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So these people who don't have the zeal, you know, the people who are considered the saints. You know, like we had talked about one time, some people are made to do that, and it doesn't even faze them. You know, killing doesn't faze them because that comes easy. But see, these people are willing to do that because they desire peace.
Right.
You know, they are just hoping that after all of this is completed, that peace will in fact be a reality, because they've suffered so much in their life. They're tired of being in so much anger. They're tired of being in so much pain because they want peace. And see, and their rigidness and their anger and their reclusiveness comes from the fact that they don't want to associate themselves with a world in which they hate.
Right. Be in the world but not of the world, basically.
Right. Hold on for 1 second. Now, don't get me wrong. As far as Courtney is concerned, I understand her because she's a writer like myself, and that's the best way that we deal with our pain is we have to write about it.
Right.
You know, so that's where, you know, we get our ideas from the life that we've lived. And so simply because there's certain things that we can't do for real, we'll just write about it, stick somebody in there and say, all right, kill them all, you know. And then
you write about it, then you actually do a lot of things that you want to do. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right, absolutely.
That's helpful.
Yeah, but when I write that, what I just told you about, I'm going to have to make certain that is put in the right time element to where people can understand exactly why the environment is the way it is.
Right.
You know, because the environment has to be a justification for people like this to suddenly just come out.
Right.
And see, and the reason why he has to go through these, you might as well say the internal purge after the you might as well say external purge, is to let the young people know, I don't want you to look at this man as a hero. You know, he was necessary because of the conditions on the planet. But now that he helped establish peace on earth, he has no place in a peaceful world, so he has to die. You understand? So he was a hero, but he's not one now. You know, a human being existing in a peaceful world like this, he's going to be, you know, the people are going to know that it was this type of person that created the peace that we are currently enjoying, but all at the same time, this is not a place for him.
Right.
Because he can't live in this type of society because of his capability, so he's got to go. But the only way that he's going to be able to exist in a peaceful world, he has to first find inner peace, so that he can go in harmony with the environment.
Right. Have you ever watched The Punisher, whether it's the movie or the show?
The first movie where it had the guy who did the what's his name? He was in.
Remember that three Punisher movies? Which one you talking about? Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, him.
Oh.
That's the only one that I saw.
Oh, you need to watch the other two. You want? I can get them for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason why I'm bringing them up is because Punisher is the epitome of a necessary.
Yeah.
Kill evil.
Yeah, because I remember watching that one I just mentioned. I remember watching that one with my mother. And that part when he went in there and shot up that bar, oh man, I was just, whew. My mother was looking at me. She said, "What is it?" I said, "Mama, he's shooting up the bar." I said, "You remember when you was working in that club?" I don't think I ever told you. I think I told you when I was 9 years old, my mother used to work in this club. And one time my Aunt Ruth took me and my sister down there to pick up my mother. And my Aunt Ruth told me and my sister to go in there and let my mother know that Ruth was waiting for her outside. And so we go in there, and I'm in there. It was dark, and there's a bunch of folks in there, and it was liquor, and you know, the music playing. And all of a sudden, I got angry, you know. And after my mother had said, "Okay, I'll be out there in a few minutes," I'm walking through the crowd, man, and I'm elbowing people out my way. Boom, boom, and everybody was looking at me like, "What the hell's wrong with him?" You know, and my sister like. Was telling my aunt, he in there elbowing people and everything. My aunt was like, what's the matter with you, DA? I told her, I said, I hate places like that. I said, places like that make me angry. And she said, why do places like that make you angry? And at the time I said, I don't know. I don't like places like that. I don't like places like that. And so when I first saw that scene when he stood up on top of that bar and he just shot the whole bar up, oh man, I was going crazy. I'm like, yeah, shoot it all up, burn it all the way to the ground.
Why?
Because I don't think places like that should exist.
Yeah, the bars, there's a bunch of debauchery and degenerate stuff that goes on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So you ain't never been to a bar, have you?
No. I mean, when I was in Georgia, I went into a bar with Richard and that older guy, Latimer. Now, they supposed to be Jehovah's Witnesses. And they wasn't drinking, they were just ordering food. And that's the time I told you that woman would kept rubbing up against me.
Yeah.
And I was telling Richard and them that I don't like bars. I said, I don't think, Jehovah's Witnesses should feel comfortable sitting at bars. I mean, this is where they sell liquor and all that. Why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? Why are you here? And they said, well, we ain't drinking. Yeah. But you're still sitting at a bar. And they have tables in here. I mean, we could sit at a table. I mean, you guys are either going to live this life or you're not. Which one is it going to be? So those type of environments, I don't like them. Strip clubs, bars, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of riffraff going on in those types of places.
Places just that whole environment just makes me angry. I hate it. Degenerate, People, you think you better? No, I know I'm better. I know I'm better than that.
I like how you don't apologize for saying that.
Yeah, I don't. That's not my realm, and I'm not going to Christian myself. Well, I ain't no better than them people. Yes, you are. You are better than these fucking people in here. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're right. Those people are heathens. I remember we had a conversation one time. We were talking about how we got to stop apologizing for our greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying just echoes that sentiment.
Yeah. We talked about that not too long ago. I think it was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
You are better than that. Yes, you are.
People try to shame you because they in denial that you really are as greater than them. They don't want you to admit to that, own up to that.
Mm-hmm. That's because they know they full of it. And they can see that you're better than them. And that's one of the reasons why they don't want you to feel like you're better than them. Because they know that you know that you're better than them. And they know that you're better than them. You ain't no better than me. Yes, I am. And you know that. That's the reason why you're saying that to me.
Yeah.
I tell them that all the time. You ain't no better than me. Yes, I am. I'm better than you, bro. Straight up. I am. I'm better than you. Believe that. Yeah, but people need to be very careful, man, on how their mind is being conditioned, even when it comes to these shows, Because people get very much involved in these shows to the point to where a lot of these actors are getting death threats.
Yeah, that's taking it too far. I agree.
Yeah, so they're too involved. They're too involved, And obviously, it's something's going on with them in their life, So you just got to be real careful, man. Yeah, but when you see that apocalypse now, it's going to be a whole lot. I mean, that's like that movie Kong. I believe it was Kong when it had Samuel L. in it.
Yeah.
And they gave him that mission, and he told him, "Thank you." He thanked him for the mission because he was getting ready to lose it because he couldn't kill nobody no more.
That's crazy.
Yep. See, people like that, you can't let people like that back into society. I put it like this: you can't force them back into society.
Right.
Because people like that are not really interested in rejoining society because they feel as though they don't have no place there no more, and they really don't.
Right. one question I have as far as what we're talking about, why does the government, at least here in America, like treat its warriors or so-called soldiers like crap when they come back over here? Because I done heard so way too many horror stories. Like, how can you treat these people like throw them away or whatever like that when they did everything? Some of them lost limbs and lives. Like, I feel like people in the military, if you serve, you should get treated way better than how American government does. I don't understand why it throws them away like that. Because
when you join the service, there's certain documents that you have to sign that puts you in a position to where no matter what happens to you, you are now a property of the government, and they can pretty much do with you whatever they want to. And you signing those documents, what you're doing is pretty much giving your life over to them to do with you as they will.
Right.
And so if you try to sue the government, you can't sue the government, because you signed your life over to us. We can do with you whatever we want to do. If you become a prisoner of war, and if we decide to leave you there, that's it. You're our property. We don't have to come after you.
Right.
We don't have to pay you. We don't have to do anything for you. And so what they do, the veterans that are no longer useful because of their mental and physical condition, they're responsible for you because they are you're being pushed back into society, and so they have to send you a check every month or whatever the case may be, and take care of you medically, but they pretty much know you ain't gonna be around for too much longer.
Right.
And if you really want to get out of the condition, then you have to be productive. You gotta do something to keep yourself busy. You can't wallow in your pain, and and if you have psychological problems, then you have to do what you have to do in order to become productive again.
That's true.
And then people say, well, we don't think that's fair. Well, you know what? You chose to join the service. You chose to put your life in their hands, and once that happens, you become a puppet for the government, and they can pretty much send you wherever they want.
Right.
And you can't say no because you signed these documents. So they don't have to do anything for you.